Guys, shalom and welcome to TBN Israel, the podcast. I'm Yair Pinto, and with me is the one and only Shoshani. And today we're going to discuss the operations, the covert operations that you only hear about in movies, or if you tune on to whatever is happening in Israel.
Or in the news recently.
Yeah, definitely.
And we'll frame this conversation. We've always done creative things in the Israeli army.
Yeah.
And now more than ever, every story that you hear, you read the headline and you look at it and you say, how is this even possible?
Yeah.
How is it? And we'll name some of the things. Pulling people out of their beds, but they live in a coastal city in a country that we're not present in on a military level. Syria this week.
Yeah.
You know, and
Lebanon a few days ago.
Lebanon, people that think that they're hidden, tucked away somewhere deep in the mountains.
North of Beirut.
Yeah. Iranian scientists hidden away in like a safe house, and someone knocks on the door in the middle of the night. Who is it? The Israeli army with a bunch of helicopters.
We're taking you to Israel.
Come, we're going.
Have you ever been to Tel Aviv?
You're going
we're going now.
You're going on an unplanned vacation in Tel Aviv.
Definitely.
But mostly underground, probably, without any light.
Yeah. Or let's say, Hamas leaders that are protected, so-called, in Tehran, and then a booby trap bomb is attached to their bed where they sleep.
So today we're taking, some time, however long we run with the show, to talk about the incredible, the brave, the fearless, the creative men and women who make up the Israeli Special Forces. We have a lovely banner that was created today talking about all the special operations that are happening. This is an entire branch of the Israeli army. It's always been part of our narrative and the legacy of Israeli Special Forces since before the beginning of this country.
Yeah, definitely.
Since before we had an army, even in the early, we call it Kufat HaMachtarot, the underground season, if I would translate.
Before Israel was like a state.
Yeah, but under British mandate, let's say in the late 20s, 30s, 40s, we had this narrative of doing death-defying operations, of doing the unthinkable, of marching people through the night, through enemy lines to pull something out or something like that.
No, definitely.
And these are the kind of stories that me and you have grown up on in the Israeli army. And we continue to create them today.
Yeah, I think that Israel in the past 3 months did more daring covert operations than most of the militaries of the world combined in the past year, especially that we've heard of. So either we've been doing it all the time and we were just secretive about it, and now it's time to, show off or tell the world what we're doing, which might be a strategy because this world is also listening and reacting to whatever is being told in the media.
Tomer and I, what was it, a couple of days ago?
You went on a little visit to South Lebanon.
We had a little visit into southern Lebanon, which is going to air in a couple of days.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting trip. Can't say more than that right now.
Yeah.
But on our way back, we're talking about everything we were seeing that night and, in the recent days. And I feel it's like some of the things that have happened in the last week alone are the material that I think entire armies don't do in 20 years. Exactly. Just in a single week. These operations where you read them and it literally makes headlines globally.
Yeah.
Every self-respecting YouTube and military channel is talking about these operations. How is it possible? How did we combine air and naval approach or sea approach onto a land target? Just an incredible list of things. First, I'll say this for the sake of the viewers who are asking,
why do we have so many cups?
Why do we have so many cups? 2 reasons. One, it's the beginning of the Israeli flu season. Yair just spent several days in bed.
Yes, I wish sleeping, but mainly just coughing.
So pray for his health. Pray for his health. So we have both coffee and tea to keep
alive,
to keep everyone healthy.
Our director is giving us a hard time on it because he doesn't like it in the frame. So please forgive us if it's.
But since our team represents all cultures, we have both the coffee and the tea.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to exclude anyone. No. And I'd say the second reason is you see these lovely mugs with the TBN Israel logo on them. Mm-hmm. These can be yours too. If you're at home, let me smile to the camera. If you're at home and you would love this high quality porcelain, I don't know if it's porcelain, this high quality mug
that keeps the heat inside
with a well-designed logo, it can be yours.
Yeah, go to the online shop of TBN Israel, and then you can purchase that, or shirts or hats, whatever we have.
Where's your shirt today? You're always giving me a hard time for not wearing one.
Well, you need to get yours. It's been a year, and I feel bad of being like a walking poster alone, So, but guys, before we jump into the operations and everything, I want to encourage you to subscribe to TBN Israel on YouTube. we passed 1 million subscribers. It's amazing. And just to tell you, before this year began, before the war began, we were at 134,000. So it's an amazing growth, a very short time. And it means that you guys are with us and you're helping us share the truth of what is happening in this region and praying with us and standing with Israel. And thank you so much for that. But before we dive in, I want to invite Alon. Alon, can you come for a second? Alon has been working with Mati and the team here at TBN Israel for many, many years. And he's about to go to the IDF reserve. Again, for I think the third time to defend us.
Third or fourth time, Alon.
Thank you so much.
Third time.
And I'll say this for the sake of the viewers. This is what Israeli society looks like right now.
Mm-hmm.
Alon, you have 2 more brothers that are currently in the army.
That's
correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
2 more brothers that are currently in the army. Mm-hmm. All 3 of you have spent the majority of the last 12 months inside the Gaza Strip, fighting for the safety of the people of Israel.
Yeah.
So this is a good example, I think, Yair, to say one thank you to Alon and his family. And if people at home are asking, who do I pray for? What does it look like? This is what it looks like.
Yeah, pray for Alon.
Pray for Alon, pray for his family members, his brothers, pray for his wife, pray for his 2 young kids at home who are going to be missing their daddy.
That's one of the biggest things I think kind of gets overlooked sometimes is the woman behind and the kids.
Oh, we've said this.
I mean, they're single parents taking care of a bunch of kids, and
They're the real heroes.
Yeah,
they are the real heroes.
The real heroes are the mothers who stayed at home with the
My
kids.
wife has stronger muscles than when we started. That's
I agree.
A fact. Just to pick them both up, the whole spiel. But anyway. But thank you guys, appreciate it.
No, you're welcome.
Be blessed, Alon, and be safe.
Thank you guys.
Okay.
Who is this Yair? I've never seen him before.
Only 10 years with you.
Just kidding. Alon's been has it been 10 years, Alon?
I think so.
Alon's been with us for 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah, this is where the lines between work and family blend.
No, definitely.
Anyway, okay, let's dive into the details.
Okay.
We have a lot to cover, so let's start with some of the operations. We'll start with the most recent, maybe. The most recent was Shayetet 13.
Yeah. Naval Sea Commandos. Shayetet 13. I don't know how to say it.
So we'll frame this for, let's call it an American audience. American Defense Forces are split up to Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Yeah. Correct? Yes.
Isn't Marines part of the Navy?
No.
Okay.
The Marines is like a separate army that is a amphibious assault force in its nature.
Okay.
As in, it's like Koch Pshita Yami. They're able to from the sea, and so everything that they have, from ships to aircraft to
from the river to the sea.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
All countries of the world will be free if it's up to the Marines. And anyway,
forgive us. We are tired, as you said.
So in the U.S. Army, every branch of the Army has its special forces. Mm-hmm. So you have Marines. You have in the Marines, you have you're gonna feel better, Yair. You have Delta Force, you have Army Rangers, you have SF operators. I forget all the names of the units in like the American Air Force, and forgive me, because I know several people who actually served in those units. You have the different units within the SF community, Special Forces community, and when you hear here and there, SEAL Team 6, SEAL Team that's Marine Special Forces. Yeah. So every one of those branches has it. The Israeli Army is one branch. We have separate branches, but it's all under the same chief of staff. Yeah. Unlike the American Army that has separate, whatever the number of 4-star generals that they have, or whatever it is. Anyway, I'm obviously wrong in the way I'm describing the American Army. We're here talking about the Israeli Army. The Israeli Army all reports to the Israeli chief of staff of the army, who is a general, the highest ranking officer in the Israeli army.
Herzi
Halevi. Yeah. And they all respond to him, but they're under different branches of the army. And we have Matkal. Matkal is actually an acronym for Mateklali, Central Command. Yeah. Central Command. Mm-hmm. Central Command, but it's not regional in the way it is. Matkal is under the intelligence arm in the Israeli army. Agaf Mondin, the intelligence arm. Shayetet 13, which is the unit we're talking about, they're under the Israeli Navy. So what they do is, similar to SEAL teams, they do amphibious assaults, and they do a lot of clandestine operations, as in they raid in the middle of war in the time of peace, and they're often invisible from the time they've arrived till the time they've left.
Yes.
And they've done some incredible operations over the years. Mm-hmm. And then there are many, many other units. I'd also say that outside of what we call the Green Army, or the army that wears uniform, there are other special forces units within Israeli intelligence community that belong to the Mossad, that operate internationally, and that belong to the Shabak, that operate
domestically,
for the most part domestically in this war.
Domestically in West Bank.
Yeah,
and Gaza
domestically
Strip,
and let's call it immediate neighbors. Shabak that operate in immediate neighborhood.
Maybe inside borders a little bit of countries around us.
And then there's several other smaller units that most people wouldn't know about and can't really talk about. Anyway, so we're talking about Shayetet. Shayetet is, again, let's call it our amphibious assault unit. Shayetet 13, these guys, and I'm saying this as people...
They're like refrigerators.
Yeah.
They're huge.
Again, every one of these units, they're legendary characters in the army. The name of these units within the Israeli army is legendary. The people that make it into those units are the cream of the crop when it comes to physical ability, to stamina, to emotional resilience, to physical resilience. Exactly. And again, to explain Israeli army to other people too, is Israeli army gets to recruit almost from the entire age group every year. So whatever the number is, let's say it's 200,000 men and women that hit the age of 18 in 2024, the army gets to recruit almost everyone from that age group, with the exception of certain communities.
They start the recruitment process at 16 already, with some testing and physical examinations and stuff like that.
Yeah, so this is not volunteer-based. It's all of the best that are physically able to do combat units. They go into the selection process for our version of the Navy SEALs, for our version of the Army Rangers, Matkal, Shayetet. They go into those units. Yeah. And the same goes to Air Force. They get to select from an incredibly large group of people, and the same goes to the technological units. And that sort of answers the question. Even though we're a very small country, the Army is able to pull and pool 00 from the entire population.
Yes, so you get really quality people, unlike other countries that serving in the army is volunteer basis, and then you just get whoever will agree to volunteer to join the army. So this is the difference. So looking at this operation in specific, the Shayetet 13.
Let's frame the conversation.
Yeah. Okay. So we are now going to look into this operation in which Shayetet 13, this Navy SEAL commando unit,
amphibious assault unit.
Okay, I'll try to say that because it's very hard for me. Amphibious assault units, and okay, so this unit was able to go on jet boats or like small boats.
Speedboats, yeah,
from Israel all across the coastline of Lebanon into north of Beirut.
Wait, do we know that they went in on boats?
Well, that's what they said. Maybe they might be flown in the middle, you say, and then go on a boat.
And they have submersible vehicles too.
No, but they were on speedboats.
Zodiacs.
Yeah, some of the distance was done with speedboats. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Director. See, I read my information.
You read your script.
Yeah, and they were able to go inside this Lebanese town, extract this Hezbollah operative.
Imad Amhaz.
Good name.
Yeah.
As always.
I did not remember this. I'm looking at our notes.
Good names.
So a nighttime raid in Batroun in northern Lebanon. They capture senior Hezbollah operative Imad Amhaz, or Amhaz. And it disrupts the Hezbollah's maritime activities. And again, I want to frame this for our viewers. This force goes into a city that is fully controlled by the Lebanese people or Hezbollah or a combination of both. There is no IDF presence in this city. They weren't expecting...
There are no Israelis in that city. No Jewish people.
Yeah. No one was expecting these people to come. And then they extract this man, pull him into the sea, and bring him to interrogation in Israel.
And another thing that is super cool about all of this is that all of the cameras, the CCTV of this neighborhood was hacked. So there is only one footage of the Israeli Marines that are taking this guy out of this village. Only one footage out of,
probably hundreds of cameras.
Yeah. And this is because of also a combination of a cyber attack against the cameras in this area, against the CCTV, surveillance, maybe phones also. So it's very sophisticated. It's not just a coincidence that they came in, took him, went out.
And I think it's important to state too, there's always this discussion where people are saying, well, what about the civilian population, et cetera, et cetera. what this war has shown us beyond any refute. There is no way to like look at the facts and disagree with this. Is that Hezbollah is deeply embedded within the civilian population, and by deeply embedded I mean there is no place where the surrounding civilians, and I'll say this to your point, Tomer, where the UN people who are around them, or the peacekeepers, don't know that there is. They might not know all the details, but they definitely know that someone who's a high up executive in Hezbollah is present. They see the military vehicles, they see the weapons, they see the armed individuals, they see the uniforms, they see the traffic in and out at all times of day. They know that they're there, and they're counting on the fact that we have to pull them out of civilian population as a protection for these terrorists. And this is a testament to the ability of Israeli forces to move, even at a time of war and heightened security, to move in and out with incredible speed, to gather intel in real time about high-level operatives. And again, let's imagine, I'm sure any Hezbollah person who knows that there's a dollar sign on their head or a gun sight on their head, he's hiding as best as he possibly can.
And also without harming the civilians in that neighborhood, in that area. There wasn't like a gunfight. You just extracted this person and went back on the speedboats and escaped.
Yeah. And just imagine the psychological warfare element of this towards Hezbollah.
It's crazy, yeah.
They can't... Look, we got to Hassan Nasrallah, who's hiding who knows how many stores underground, and I assure you there was a conversation in which he said, inshallah they will never reach us because he's under 8 stories of concrete.
Maybe at the same day after he finished watching Netanyahu on the UN, oh, very bad with this spider web,
That's something that Nasrallah always said. But but
the Jews are like the webs of the spider, so weak.
And they're saying, like they'll never get to us, and then we get to them one after the other. We get to them again and again and again. This person again. So his role was he's responsible for Hezbollah maritime activities, and one might objectively say, why on earth would Hezbollah, which is an organization that operates within Lebanon, have maritime activities? And the answer is because they're an extension of the Iranian army,
and because they understand that the Israeli gas reservoirs that are offshore and are at close proximity to Lebanon are strategic assets for Israel. So they need to create weapons and terror tools in order to threaten these strategic assets of Israel.
Exactly.
And that's why they need a maritime capability.
So what does the IRGC do, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps? Their whole naval warfare strategy is we're not about winning the war. We're about disrupting trade in the Arabian Sea, so oil prices around the world go up.
Yeah,
this is the same thing for Hezbollah. They're doing
disrupting Israeli operations.
They're doing sea-to-sea operations. So as in they have small surface vessels, or maybe unmanned what do you call them? Water vessels or naval vessels,
like drones, aerial drones. There's also naval drones,
and they would use them. And again, in land terms, it seems like a far distance, 200 kilometers.
But
at sea, it's not that big of a distance. The range in which you can travel, and again, your ability to move assets and forces in the sea is much more limited than it would be in another area. Yeah. So they have a force that is set on terrorist infiltration through the sea into Israel, which is something they've done in the past, including during the war.
I was during the whole beginning of this war. We were prepared that an Israeli city for an Hezbollah attack through the sea. Yeah, through the sea. That was the main route of infiltration for Hezbollah.
Yeah, and it's not something imagined. Hezbollah and other terrorists from northern Israel have done that in the past.
Also, Hamas did it.
Yeah, so Hamas did it. Hamas did it on October 7th.
Exactly. So if Hamas can do it, I'm sure that Hezbollah has a way more advanced naval capability.
Yeah, and there's another thing, is that Hezbollah also wants to intimidate Israeli maritime traffic, both military and civilian. And to do that, they built an impressive arsenal of surface-to-sea missiles. Mm-hmm. And people, again, sometimes the word missile can be misleading, because this is a missile, something I launched from my shoulder. Yeah. I'm doing the motion if you're listening to this in audio. This is something you do if it's like shoulder mounted. Yeah. An RPG, whatever, name the missile, or from a Jeep.
Anti-tank rocket.
But some of these rockets are the size of a school bus. Some of these rockets are the size of 2 cars.
We've seen them in houses in South Lebanon.
Exactly.
Instead of a living room, you have a rocket.
Exactly, and some of them are
popular.
They're great piece of furniture. Yeah. And then in the new IKEA Lebanon catalog. The new ballistic cruise missile.
in the Iranian new IKEA hardware store.
2 Allen keys and 40 kilos of C4. Anyway.
Do-it-yourself ground rockets.
We were talking to some sources recently about this. I have to frame this conversation correctly. And, we're talking about, so the Israeli Navy wants to operate near the shores of Lebanon. Now it can. This is a perfect example of that. Why were there no Navy or sea-to-land operations up till now? The reason is because Israel had to eliminate the rocket stores of the Hezbollah that were aimed at destroying Israeli surface vessels.
Mm-hmm.
Second Lebanon War, the Hezbollah was able to launch it was an Iranian missile, right? Yeah. Whatever, what was it called? Shihad. Again, it was a surface to sea missile that knocked out. Again, there was like human error there and stuff like that, but it hit one of the Israeli small, what do you call them? Cruisers, I guess. A small one of the Israeli. No, it wasn't a double. It was something slightly bigger. Okay. Killed several. They have the ability. Those rockets, let's call anti-sea rockets, 8 meters long. 30 feet long. Big rockets. Huge warheads. They can blow a hole in the side of a ship. That's the size of them.
Yeah.
So Israel, to be able to operate freely in the seas outside of Lebanon, had to knock out those stores. This man, Imad Amchaz, he's not just some guy who's responsible for the booze cruises in
exactly.
in Hezbollah. His job, I'm joking. That's a double joke because they shouldn't be drinking.
They don't drink.
Yeah. But
he went to study. He went to a university to study and to get better at naval terrorism. To become even a bigger expert.
Yeah.
Well, at least another one bites the dust.
Dum.
Another
one bites the dust.
Today we found out that months ago there was another operation.
Oh yeah, correct.
Where was that?
In Syria.
Wait, the Sayret Matkal one?
Yeah. No.
No, that we heard about.
No, it goes.
Okay.
It goes. Okay. This is just now.
Oh, explain to people who Egoz is.
Okay, Egoz is the highly advanced unit as part of an infantry unit called Golani, which all of us know, and they are specializing in bush fighting, kind of like
mountainous warfare,
Vietnam style,
guerrilla warfare.
Guerrilla warfare.
No, so Egoz
not urban.
No,
like
mountainous. Mountainous terrain.
Mm-hmm.
Egoz is a unit that was founded towards the end of our
Lebanon, second
towards
Lebanon
the end
war.
of the time of our time in Lebanon.
Yeah.
Hezbollah was using a lot of guerrilla warfare. They were infiltrating Israeli outposts and stuff like that. So we created it. It's called, again, essentially an anti-guerrilla warfare unit.
Yeah.
They use the same tactics, so they're experts there's several units that do this now.
In camouflage.
Experts in camouflage and moving through highly sloped and wooded.
Bushed areas.
Yeah, very, very bushy or heavily wooded terrain. Such as exists in the border between Israel and Lebanon.
Exactly.
They're masters of assimilating in the terrain and disappearing for days and weeks. And this,
cool, yeah.
Which is very cool.
Yeah. So in this operation that was just now cleared for publication, in February, this unit was able to infiltrate Syria, which is adjacent to Lebanon, north of Israel, and this country is supposedly under Bashar Assad, but it's really under multiple terrorist organizations, as well as some Syrian entities, and also Russia is present there. So our unit, Egoz, this special unit, was able to hide in Syria for, I think, a week or a few days. And during this time, they were able to apprehend an operative of Hezbollah that was spying on Israel from Syria. And then bring him back into Israel without being revealed, and only now this operation is being cleared for publication.
Yeah.
So imagine how many more of these operations have been taking place.
Well, we get a hint of this because when we entered, we talked about this. Remember, the IDF says something very vague along the lines of like, FYI, we've been holding ground special forces within Lebanon in recent months. And then there was a number given.
Yeah, I remember that.
And by the way, the number of operations was something like 60 different operations that took place in recent months. And it was like a very vague number and a very vague period of time. All that to say essentially that special forces have been operating within Lebanon and Syria likely
for a few months.
Since the war started, probably.
Basically, yeah.
Give or take one way or another. Another big operation is Sayret Matkal. which is again our like the best of our intelligence, bless you, who raided a missile facility in northern Syria. And let me explain the terms. I was just like looking at the map.
This happened a while ago.
This was a while ago. This was like a month and a half ago. And it was an air raid, as in like helicopters. I don't know where they came from, but they're in a place called Masyaf in northern Syria. Masyaf Hama. Masyaf Hama, if you look at a map, it's closer to Turkey than it is to Israel. It's way north, inside the country, way beyond the reach of Israeli jet fighters, definitely helicopters, definitely a sea or land invasion. And at the time, we pull out a bunch of, correct me if I'm mistaken the details here,
scientists.
A bunch of scientists that many of them are connected to the Iranians.
Yes.
Pull them out. Again, they're somewhere deep in the desert. They don't imagine anyone is coming and anyone knows about it. And then in the middle of whatever it was, like...
I think it was with like helicopters also.
With
they
helicopters,
just were like,
It's very odd. There's no Google Earth photos from in that city. What a surprise. Anyway, but that to show you, so this is hundreds of kilometers or hundreds of miles away from the borders of Israel, deep inside enemy terrain, in an area that has anti-aircraft batteries. It has tons of fighters of Hezbollah, Iranians that are embedded in there.
Assad regime, meaning the Syrian army, Russian forces, and other
enemies of Israel. I mean, the Russians have radar stations there. The Russians have bases in there. The Turks have aerial assets in that area.
It's very dangerous to conduct an operation that just by accidentally, being in a fight with Russian soldiers, you can start a third world war here. So it's very risky.
So Sayret Matkal, just to give a glimpse into this unit, Sayret Matkal is like the long arm of Israeli special forces outside of the borders of the country. And over the years, and again, so this is a land-based unit that uses helicopters or travels 30 miles at once overnight to get to a spot silently through villages that are asleep or through towns and stuff like that. They've done things over the years that defy reason.
Like the Mivtza Entebbe operation, that an Israeli airplane was taken hostage by Palestinians and landed in Africa. And then this unit was able to take control of the airplane and rescue all the hostages at once. And this was including the Prime Minister's brother. Prime Minister Netanyahu's brother.
Yoni Netanyahu was sadly killed in that operation. Yes. That's one of them. But again, over the years, we've heard different things.
And Doron Almog.
That's right. That we interviewed recently.
Yeah, he was the last one to get off the ground from there.
And just again, like these very brave individuals, they've done things deep inside Syria, deep inside Lebanon, deep inside of other countries that we can't talk about. And every once in a while, something goes wrong, and then you hear about it, and you'll ask yourself, what on earth were you doing there? This is the kind of thing, and so here's a side note. We were talking about this before we started rolling, that I'm trying to think who was talking about this week. I was listening to someone talk about the method.
You listen to Boots on the Ground.
Also,
you're not cheating on us.
Sometimes
what are you listening to?
Sometimes I listen to Boots on the Ground. I listen to a lot of people talk, and not just myself.
You did a very good job, Mati, today.
And this guy, he says essentially, look, the Israeli special forces will do things that other people won't do. And it wasn't said in like a negative sense. It was almost like there are things that they do, which is, they'll push social levers and emotional levers on people to extract information from them. Again, necessity is the father of all innovation. And you see that in the Israeli army. We don't have the numbers to throw at a problem. We don't have the money or the manpower to say, well, look, we don't know how to solve this. Let's send 10,000 soldiers. Worst case, they die.
We don't have a worst case, they die.
We can't afford to do those kind of things. So our special forces historically have always done these
backdoor operations,
radical creative operations. And every blue moon, something will be leaked or something will go wrong, and you'll find out. And they're operating somewhere deep within enemy territory, and they're doing something so outlandish in its nature. They kidnapped a guy from his bed in a high rise. They're planting radio listening devices within a Syrian or Lebanese city.
The son of the leader of Hamas was working with the Israeli Shabak and Mossad for many years. Undercover, giving us intelligence. Ben Hamas. Now he's also
Massab Youssef.
He's very big on the podcast. We should bring him over. By the way, I think he will be a great guest.
I've read the book. Very good book.
So yeah, I think
What's it called? The Green? Oh, the title was The Green Prince. The book is called Son of Hamas.
Yeah, because green is the Hamas color.
Yeah.
Now it's like a watermelon. They evolved to go along with other trends in the world. So yeah, I think wait, before we continue, I think it's just a good time to tell our viewers that today's sponsor for this podcast is Arza. Okay, Arza is this Israeli company that combines all these great gifts, craftsmanship, goods, food that is made here in Israel, either in Jerusalem, which is behind me, or in the north, in the area surrounding the Gaza Strip. So if you want to support Israel and help the actual businesses of this land during this hard time, because there's no tourism, it's very hard economically. We have hundreds of thousands of soldiers that are not working and they are defending the country. And that's our workforce. So if you want to support Israel, especially now, before Christmas, a great way to do it is to go to www.arzabox.com and then click the code TBNIL. You'll get 10% discount on your Arza Box subscription. It's a great way to support Israel, to support our work here at TBN Israel, because we will get some of this money for our operations to create more programs. And it's a great way to help the communities, the people of Israel, and the businesses of Israel.
Yeah, and I want to say something also specific about this business. Some key words. It's made by artisans, it's not mass produced.
Artisans means artists?
Asakim Zeirim. It's like,
small businesses?
Small, like they're like the experts that make something. It's not a factory that's cranking out 10,000 units a day.
Yeah.
It's, I don't say this lightly.
It's a family that creates.
It's a family business
yes.
in a small Galilee community. It's a family business in the old city in Jerusalem.
Exactly.
It's a family business in Beersheba. It's a family business of Bedouin women in the Negev.
It's not just Jewish people.
No, not just Jews.
It's Arabs. It's all kinds of Israelis.
Itai, who's the founder of this company, and I say this, we wholeheartedly back this operation because they really take care to collect things that are unique and of quality. And I say this to our viewers, if you're asking, I as an Israeli look at these products and say, I would be happy to receive this package on a regular basis.
By the way, we received the package a few days ago.
You ate half of it.
I forgot to bring you your part from this package. It's in my car. I was tempted to see if I'll accidentally forget it altogether. But no, I'll bring it to you now.
Thank you, Yair. Anyway, so yes, get the Arza box. It's a great gift. It's quality. It's worth visiting the website, and it is something that in this time of war, in this time that it's hard to travel to Israel, it supports local businesses, people on the ground, people that are blessed to know that someone around the world said, I want this and I care for Israel. They feel it here.
Yeah.
Back to business.
Yeah, definitely.
So Matkal, they did this incredible operation. They pull out these Iranian, apparently, scientists.
What were they doing? They were basically developing the ability to create weapons in Syria. So instead of shipping the weapons all the way from Iran to Lebanon, through Syria, Iraq, and then on the way, the Israeli Air Force is destroying the convoys.
Yeah.
They wanted to create a factory and develop these weapons close by, and then either shoot them from Syria or deliver them easily to Lebanon.
Yeah, and one of the
they can't do that anymore.
To frame this conversation, one of the biggest quality differentials between differentiators, differences between Israel and the Hezbollah is that our munitions are accurate and theirs are inaccurate.
Yeah.
So when you read in the news, Hezbollah rockets hit field in northern Israel.
They don't aim the fields.
They don't aim for the field. Most of their rockets are inaccurate, so they're what you call statistical weapons. You fire 100 and you hope that 10 hit a valuable target. Israeli weapons, the vast majority of them, including artillery shells.
Also, the statistical weapons of Israel
are accurate.
Statistic within 500 meters, within maybe a kilometer, depending what.
They're very accurate.
Yeah.
Relatively speaking, and even that, the Israeli Air Force, and now even Israeli mortars to a certain degree, use state-of-the-art technologies to hit with pinpoint accuracy.
Oh, we have a mortar, like an amazing mortar that it can hit like a mortar, to like a 1 meter radius.
Yeah.
Mortar.
Yeah. Mortars.
Americans
don't pronounce the Itzurim, the consonants.
Well, Americans also have S in island, and they don't pronounce the S. It doesn't make any sense, but I don't know. They rule the world, I guess.
All that in our next lesson. Why English doesn't make any sense. We should all speak Hebrew.
Definitely. Hummus, Khan Yunis.
Anyway, so this incredible operation where, again, we're going after these quality targets. And everything special forces around the world is always not just about what are you doing? It's also what does the message that comes out of that sound like to the other side?
Yeah.
So we're saying, hey, Hezbollah guys, you thought you were hidden away, but no, no, no. We know exactly where you are. We're going to get you.
Yeah.
Hey, Hamas, you thought you were hiding. We know where you are. Hey, Iranians, you thought no one knew about this installation.
We know.
We're going to release it on a blog post on Reddit. Everyone around the world knows what you're hiding in this facility.
Also, like, hey, Iranians, you thought you have S-300. Well, you don't have them anymore. Sorry. Yeah.
News break, you don't have them anymore.
Exactly. By the way, guys, I don't know if you know this, but the new leader of Hezbollah, the replacement of Hassan Nasrallah, is not even in Lebanon because he's hiding in Tehran, in Iran, because I guess that the Iranians don't believe that Hezbollah and Lebanon can protect him from Israeli attacks, so now he's hiding in Tehran. Right?
I'm not sure that protects him. So, one, the list goes on and on. If you Google Special Forces operations or go back into the archive of some of the boots on the ground's news reports, you'll just hear this never-ending list of special operations carried out by different Israeli Special Forces units. But what does this all aggregate to? It aggregates to this. It shows everyone around the world that there is no place that Israeli special forces and Israeli forces in general cannot reach. Is it a bedroom inside Tehran protected by the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps? Yes, we can reach it. Is it a bunker deep in the Syrian desert? We can reach it. Is it a man hiding in the bottom of a building complex, Hassan Nasrallah, in the middle of a city? Yes, we can reach it. Is it a guy hiding in his beach house somewhere in Lebanon? We can pull you out of your bed at night without your neighbors noticing. Yeah. And that sends this powerful message around the world that says, guys, we got you.
It's not worth it to be a Hezbollah terrorist anymore.
Yeah. Crime doesn't pay off.
Maybe I should go and find a better profession.
Yeah. You know? Go do something slightly more culturally effective. And so that's very powerful in itself.
Yeah.
Two, it allows our army and our special units to do something which is incredibly important for us. It is to eliminate our enemies without having to send in half an army to bring them out, or without putting a substantial number of our forces at risk, without the collateral damage that goes with blowing up a city block, with dropping big bombs or munitions on a specific home that has a lot of civilians in it.
And think about it from an organizational standpoint. You're taking out all of the knowledge concentration minds, basically the leaders of each division of the Hezbollah organization. It's very hard to replace such a thing. Also from a leadership standpoint and also from an organizational knowledge standpoint. I mean, you need somebody that has an idea about smuggling weapons through the sea to replace him. You can't just replace him with a driver or with a new recruit. It's very hard.
Have you seen some of the social media clips coming out of Lebanon recently, where they're like the biggest prank right now is, they'll have a group of friends and one of them will announce that my friend Ahmedir is the new chair of Hezbollah. The guy turns white and starts running.
throws his phone away.
Where it's like, I don't say this jokingly. We've systematically eliminated the entire, we'll call it org chart of Hezbollah. Yeah. All of it. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They're all gone. They're all or in a hospital missing digits in their fingers or dead. And the same goes to Hamas. The Israeli Special Forces, the Israeli intelligence has done an amazing job in the past year, but specifically in recent months, of just systematically eliminating their leadership.
Yeah, for some reason we didn't do it for the Houthis yet, but maybe they're next.
Maybe
if they keep on disrupting.
It's all possible. Maybe that's a podcast about what the U.S. is planning to do in the Middle East.
Or maybe the U.S. will do something also in the...
Because the U.S. has a lot of special forces also concentrated in the Middle East right now.
Yeah.
So again, huge PR, sort of projection of power. Mm-hmm. 2, a message that goes to every Hezbollah, every terrorist, every Hamasnik, every Hamas operative, everything, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, however hidden you think you are, we're coming to get you.
You're not.
Yeah, you're not hidden. We know where you are. We're coming to get you. This isn't all negative. The only way to reach peace in this part of the world, which is called the Middle East, the only way to reach peace is if you have power, if you have respect,
And you're not afraid to use it.
And they're not afraid to use it. Exactly. Yeah.
Because America, so they have power, they have respects, but if you don't have the ability to actually take a step, what?
He said don't.
But don't. Okay.
I wouldn't, I wouldn't be dismissive of that.
No, but no, I'm saying, America. I'm not saying America does not do it. They did it. They can do it, and just by moving their pieces, they make an effect on the other side. But you need to have to be willing to prove once in a while that you have also teeth.
The thing is, it has to be on an ongoing basis.
Yeah.
And that's something we've struggled with as a country. Democracies always have a challenge of being the initiators of violence. It's against the nature of democracies.
Always to be responsive.
And it makes sense.
Yeah.
If you have to run for elections, no one's going to remember that you prevented things. Again, if you send a Tomo, we were talking about this on the way up north the other night. I was flying at illegal speeds on the way up to make it up to a rendezvous with the IDF in northern Israel, and we're talking about the fact that, you can't let it rest. If on an ongoing basis you're not willing to project your power, your enemies immediately see the weakness and they test it on a regular basis. Are you going to respond to this? You respond to this? To this?
No,
to this?
Let me give you an example.
You can't not respond. You have to.
In the past year before October 7, I don't know if people remember that, but every week in the Gaza Strip there was a demonstration.
Yes.
Supposedly a peaceful demonstration to stop the siege over Gaza. And you had women, children, and of course terrorists also embedded in these groups of Palestinians that every week came 100 meter closer to the border. Closer to the border. In the last few months before October 7, they were on the border, even to the point of killing one IDF soldier with a handgun. Imagine how close that they had to be.
Yeah, it means they were touching the fence with Israel. What was it? 13 years ago, there was a kill zone, which, by the way, is the practice. Yeah, of course. That's
the way to do it.
That's how borders between countries work.
Yeah.
You don't get stopped when you're ripping the border across and crossing.
Yeah, there's a red line. Okay, you pass this. Okay, there's a warning shot.
Yeah.
Then there is a shot to the ground. Then there is a shot to your leg. And then there is a kill zone.
And then that's sort of the nature of democracies is especially Israel, which we're very, very, very fearful of being the instigators of violence. Yeah. Fearful of losing,
international support
and stuff like that. So
or legitimacy.
Look, it's just peaceful. Oh, look, it's peaceful, but they also have guns. Oh, they're firing at us, but they're not killing us.
Oh, they're not gonna hurt you with this
until it explodes in your face, we don't respond typically. So there's a challenge moving forward of not losing sight of the fact that you can't project weakness. That when we say, and this is going to happen, I believe, sometime soon, there's a new agreement with the Lebanese, and we're going to work out
it's whatever. It's going to happen now, after we move out of Lebanon.
Yeah, something.
There's going to be another zone, and then Hezbollah will move 1 meter into the demilitarized zone.
You said it was no armed forces
but he only has
south of the Litani River.
He only has binoculars.
So, look, he's not armed. His gun is over there, and he's here with a night vision system.
Yes.
Look, he's not armed, and he's here with a laser pointer and the range chart. Scoping out, IDF positions. Look, he has a gun, but he's far away. He can't hurt us. We can't let that happen. It has to be he's there, and the agreement says that he can't be there. 10 seconds later, he needs to go join forces with his creator. That's where he should be.
Yeah.
And if we're not able to do that on a regular basis, we'll once again be back in the same place.
No, for sure. Yeah. I don't know.
Let's wrap this up.
We have more time or no?
I think we've talked enough. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Let's close on something hopeful.
Okay.
One. We have good people in this country.
Amazing people,
and amazing people in the IDF. And the IDF has been able, and I say this, I take off my hat in front of them, and I say the IDF has managed to continuously execute high-level operations that require intelligence and real-time assets in the air, on the ground, to communicate, to train soldiers during an ongoing war on multiple fronts, and to still carry out operations at the highest level globally.
To train also reserve soldiers, meaning people that have jobs, families, and they are also part of these elite units.
Yeah, and again, so we had Alon on a second ago.
Yeah.
We were talking, yesterday, a couple days ago, sorry. Well, it's been a week, I guess, at this point. And talking to soldiers inside Lebanon. There are people there that have been at war in special units since October 7th.
Yeah.
They've been home for several weeks in some of the cases. I have soldiers, you have colleagues in the army that have served the majority of this past year and still are carrying out operations with discipline, following the rules all the time, following the safety rules even
Of course, definitely.
You know, just a very, very high level of professionalism. And I'd even say that you're seeing this even with the younger soldiers in the army, an incredible level of discipline and following the basic orders that allows our army to continue to operate, utilizing technology and intelligence and all the tools that stand at the hands of an army.
That's how they caught Sinwar. It's
Yes.
just a normal soldier that was
Following
following
procedures.
the procedures,
Yes.
basic, okay, doing a patrol and spotting Yahya Sinwar.
Yeah. And then, so that's the practical side. The army's done an amazing job. You know,
Amazing.
kudos. We're proud of the ability of the Israeli army.
Became really professional, I think, in the last year.
But there's also a side that's relevant for the people watching the show.
Mm-hmm.
The people watching the show need to remember that we're still at war. You might be hearing about, you know,
Successes.
successes or the U.S. elections. No, there are Israeli forces in southern Lebanon. There are Israeli forces inside the Gaza Strip. There are probably Israeli forces in other places that we don't know about.
Israeli soldiers lose their lives every
day-
day.
every day,
Every
yes.
day. Yes.
Yes.
And it's either young people at the age of 20 or more mature people at the age of 40 with children of their own.
Yes.
These are the people that
And
we
it's
keep
been
reporting
It's
on.
been a long and painful war. And we need people around the world to continue to pray for Israel, pray for the safeguarding of Israeli soldiers and defense personnel wherever they are around the world, fighting for the safety of Israel. Pray for the families of those people that are left behind, waiting for their loved ones to return. We need it, and pray for the quick release of the hostages.
Amen. Yeah.
101 hostages that still remain in Hamas captivity in inhumane conditions, from what we know.
Yeah, no, definitely, Mati. And we believe in prayer. We believe that prayer works.
100%.
I mean, personally, prayer did wonders for me in the Gaza Strip and in general in this war, just to go through this crazy year. And I would like to encourage all of you to unite in prayer for the peace of Jerusalem, for Israel, but make it personal, okay? If you need a soldier, I would encourage you to pray for Alon that you just met today. He's a great guy, and he has a lovely family, and they need your prayers, your help. He's going to go through some challenging times in this war. He served a lot of time in the Gaza Strip, and he's going there again now. And we need your prayer. So please make it personal. God is a personal God, and this is a spiritual war, and he needs spiritual fighters.
Amen.
Like you. Okay, so I think this is
that's enough for today.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mati.
Thank you, Yair.
And guys, please subscribe to TBN Israel and don't miss another episode of either Boots on the Ground, In Our Neighborhood, My State, or TBN Israel, the podcast, which is the best name of all. So thank you for staying with us for so long, and keep praying for the peace of Jerusalem.
Amen. Hello, this is Mati here in Jerusalem with TBN Israel.
This is Yair Pinto from TBN Israel here in Jerusalem. TBN Israel is keeping viewers informed with Israel-focused news, culture, and what God is doing in this land.
Support TBN Israel today online at tbn.org/Israel. Thank you.